Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of Jurassic Park characters sorted into Hogwarts houses. Today, I'll be sorting the characters featured in the Lost World, Jurassic Park. So let's get started. I already talked about Ian Malcolm and John Hammond in part 1, so we're going to start off part 2 by talking about Sarah Harding. Sarah was a lot like Ellie Sattler, in that she was very courageous and very enthusiastic about her field of expertise. She did display many moments that showed that she was very intelligent, such as figuring out how the dinosaurs survived without lysine. But overall, I believe that Sarah has more of a track record of doing things that would define her as a brave and courageous woman. Hammond mentioned that she was studying African predators up close, a very daring task, and she even studied the Stegosauruses up close. Maybe a little too close, but still, she was gutsy enough to do it. Finally, she led the buck T-Rex back to the docks using the baby T-Rex as bait, and then she shot the buck T-Rex. So yes, she definitely has Ravenclaw qualities to her. I just think that she displayed more Gryffindor qualities, so I'm going to sort Sarah into Gryffindor. Eddie Carr. This one was a toss-up because he shares traits of two of the Hogwarts houses. On one hand, he was very technical and knowledgeable about all the field equipment they were using on the expedition, and he had no problem telling Malcolm he was doing it wrong on more than one occasion. Definitely qualities of a Ravenclaw. But on the other hand, you have an outstanding amount of courage, and it's because of Eddie's final moments that really confirmed my opinion on him. When the T-Rexes attacked the trailers, Eddie came to the rescue, and despite being surrounded by two T-Rexes, realizing that certain death awaits him, he still pushed on to try and save his friends. Sadly, he paid the ultimate price, but nonetheless, Eddie died a hero. Better be Gryffindor. Now we come to Nick Van Owen, a very polarizing figure in the Jurassic Park franchise. People either like him or hate him, and understandably so. Nick has made some choices that have sparked great debate amongst Jurassic Park fans. For instance, he was willing to resort to sabotaging the Hunters' camp to set the dinosaurs free, and he even took the bullets out of Roland's gun to save the T-Rex. Based on those actions, some might say that Nick would be a good fit for Slytherin, since he did whatever it took to save the dinosaurs. But in my opinion, he did those things out of loyalty to the dinosaurs and John Hammond. Now, I know I mentioned in a previous video that Nick was more interested in his paycheck rather than the dinosaurs, but that was only in the beginning of the movie. The more I think about it, I feel as though Nick gained a certain respect for the dinosaurs once he saw them in person, and once that happened, he made sure that he would make John Hammond proud. No matter what one may think about his choices, Nick was loyal to his cause to the very end. That loyalty makes him a Hufflepuff. Kelley Malcolm. If you remember near the beginning of the movie, it was revealed that Kelley was a research assistant in the past. So to me, I believe that Kelley has an adventurous side to her, and she displayed great enthusiasm towards the expedition. Unfortunately, as the movie progressed, she sort of took a back seat in terms of dialogue, but not to worry, because there's one thing she ended up doing later that really set her apart from the other characters in the movie, as well as from all the kid characters in general. She killed a raptor. With gymnastics, mind you. No one else did it like she did. Kelley risked her life to save her father and succeeded. She was a very adventurous and brave kid, so for sure, I gotta sort Kelley into Gryffindor. Peter Ludlow. This was a tough one to call, because you have a double-edged sword here. On one edge of the sword, you have a man who has an extreme sense of loyalty to the company he works for, which is InGen. Sounds a lot like a Hufflepuff so far, but on the other edge of the sword, you have an extreme lack of loyalty, because he voted to take control of InGen from John Hammond in the deleted boardroom scene. He was willing to go against his own family for the sake of profit. He was willing to cover up evidence and silence Malcolm for the sake of profit. And he was even willing to abduct dinosaurs from their habitat, all for the sake of profit. He was willing to go to any lengths to keep InGen from going under. Overall, Ludlow was very conniving and cunning, willing to resort to any means necessary. And those are most definitely traits that Slytherins are often known for having. So yes, it's Slytherin for Ludlow. Now we come to who I think is the greatest new character introduced in the Lost World, Roland Tembo, the personification of man's desire for thrills and adventure. Much like Robert Muldoon, Roland has had his fair share of adventures too. He was a hunter after all, and hunting big game takes a lot of courage, and hunting a T-Rex takes even more courage, and Roland never backed down from the T-Rex. He stood his ground and hunted it with ease. Not only that, if we take into consideration the deleted bar fight scene, it can also be said that Roland is very chivalrous, because he stood up to the bar patron that was harassing the waitress. Put all these qualities together, and you have a textbook Gryffindor. Dieter Stark. Dieter was put in charge of the hunters as the second in command. He displayed strong leadership skills, as he and the hunters successfully rounded up the dinosaurs on the game trail. When Roland wasn't around, the hunters all followed Dieter's lead. When Roland was around, Dieter was very loyal to Roland in return. Now, loyalty is often associated with Hufflepuffs, but to a degree, it's also associated with Slytherins as well. In addition, leadership. And I think it's because of both Dieter's strong leadership skills and loyalty that he belongs in Slytherin. Robert Burke. Believe it or not, this character was the hardest one to sort. At first, I was instantly going to sort him into Ravenclaw because of his knowledge and enthusiasm of paleontology. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that he doesn't really fit the description of a Ravenclaw, because he was actually wrong about quite a few things. For instance, he was wrong about there not being any visitors to Isla Sorna. He was wrong about the T-Rexes abandoning their child, and he was even wrong about being safe once they left the T-Rex territory. So no, I don't think he's a Ravenclaw. So where does that leave him? There's not a lot to go off of. The best I could do is just look at his loyalty to his mission. Loyal to the hunters, loyal to Ludlow, a loyal Hufflepuff, I guess. Finally, we come to Ajay. Unfortunately, in the final cut of the film, Ajay didn't get a lot of dialogue when compared to Roland and the other hunters, so there aren't a lot of scenes to go off of officially, but if we go by the deleted scene, you can see the friendship between Roland and Ajay. Ajay was always by Roland's side. He had Roland's back. Ajay was, without a doubt, a loyal and true friend. Hufflepuff for Ajay. And that's a wrap for Part 2. Stay tuned for Part 3, where I sort the characters in Jurassic Park 3. See you then!